point to you.
No, let me finish. No, here's my point to you.
I'm waiting.
If you're not going to talk about theology in context, if you're not going to talk about liberation theology that came out of the 60s, systematized black liberation theology that started with Jim Cone in 1968,
Reverend?
And the writings of Cone and the writings of Dwight Hopkins and the writings of womanist theologians and Asian theologians and Hispanic theologians.
Reverend, I got to get this in.
Then you can't talk about the black values.
But I'm going to tell you this. Listen,
do you know liberation theology, sir? Do you know liberation theology?
I actually studied. I studied theology. I went to a seminary and I studied Latin.
No, I said, do you know black liberation theology?
I'm very aware of what you're calling black liberation, but let me get my question out.
No, I didn't ask you what I'm calling. I said, do you know black theology?
Reverend, I'm going to give you a chance to answer your question.
How many of Cone's books have you read?
Reverend,
how many of Cone's books have you read?
Reverend, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to ask you the question.
How many books of Cone's have you read?
I'm going to ask you this question.
How many books of Dwight Hopkins have you read?
You're very angry and defensive. I'm just trying to ask a question here. Barack Obama goes to sir. Barack Obama goes to your church.
You haven't answered my question.
And it seems to be when you say the black community, black family, black work ethic, black community.
It seems to an arrogant, ignorant person. I'm asking you. Have you answered me? How many books of Dwight Hopkins have you read? I'm going to say this, whether you like it or not, I'm going to get my words in. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to tell you, I think as a Christian, sir, I think as a Christian, you should not separate by race in this day and age. And that's why a lot of people are going to look at that and say, we're all supposed to be united under Christ, aren't we?
Dr. Wright, Alan Combs. First of all, I think Barack Obama put it correctly to the Chicago Tribune when he said that he'd be puzzled that the conservatives would object or quibble with the bulk of a document, which is your church's document, that espouses profoundly conservative values of self-reliance and self-help. That's what you're talking about on your website, self-reliance and self-help for the community that your church serves. I don't see what the problem should be with that.
That comes out of the perspective of liberation theology and black liberation theology. And I keep asking him, how many books of Cone's has he read? How many books of Dwight Hopkins? How many liberation theologians does he know?